Here's Notebook LM. And you can see that there's a bunch of featured notebooks. So if you want to learn about William Shakespeare, you can jump right in just to get a demo. There's an archive 1945, 40, everything that happened in that year. You can research about that. But here's what I'm interested about, right? I'm interested about AI. So I have a few topics about AI. So there's one called retrieval augmented generation. There's mastering AI prompts. A lot of you have been asking about prompts. So maybe we should jump into this. There's also day after AGI, which is debating the future of intelligence. Let me go into this, right? Now the beauty is I've given it a few sessions and links. So on the left, this pane is called as sources, so I can keep adding new sources, right? For example, I just go to Google and say, hey, YouTube video on prompting techniques in 2026, right? So I get this video. I'm gonna open that.
Most people are using ChatGPT.
And I quickly copied the link. All I need to do is click on add sources, click on websites, and paste the link here. That video that we just found, right? You just click on insert, and in less than 30 seconds, there you go. It's already been processed. It's already been processed, right? And now you can say, if I were to use one new prompting technique randomly, can you pick one that you like and share it with me from everything that you know? Such a fascinating way to learn, right? It now becomes, how do you want to break down your knowledge? How do you want to ensure that you are actually getting the best of your knowledge, right? So in the center is the chat, and in the right is studios. Now studio can do audio, can do slide decks, can do video, can do a bunch of things for you, right? You can just literally click on all of these and it'll make them ready for you, right? So while some of these might not be really, really immediate, because again, generating video, generating audio will take a lot of time. You can see that the tasks are lined up here. One of the things that I've already done and I would like to show you is the mind map. And we've added a new source, but I'm a very visual learner, right? So instead of reading those big PDFs and slide decks, instead of going through 40 minutes of YouTube video, if I had a lecturer come to me and tell me, hey, today we are going to learn advanced prompting techniques and we'll go through foundations, we'll do some co-prompting, we'll do frameworks, we'll do self-correction, and we'll do a specific style of prompting. I would be like, okay, this is just 5 things, very easy. Now let's go deeper. Boom, let's go even deeper. There you go. So as a visual learner, covering multiple topics branch by branch makes me feel like, hey, this is not very large, I can do this, right? And that's why it makes my absorption that much more better. So all of you who are trying to figure out how do I stay on top of this wave, the tsunami of AI that's happening, definitely go ahead and use Notebook LM. It allows 50 sources for free. If you're on the pro plan, if you're in India especially, you get the pro plan for 18 months for free from Geo. Just go ahead and get that, and then you can add 200 sources that basically allow you to add all the books in your life in one go, and you can basically keep chatting here and getting smarter and smarter and smarter. So that is the mind maps within the studio. Let's see if any of our other elements are ready. They're not. Maybe we'll come back and jump back into this. Or in fact, I can show you from some of the other places where I've already generated this, right? So this is the topic of AI in the future. And you can see that I have flashcards that are generated. So I can just quickly click that and you will see flashcards. What is AI? ANI. It's asking me questions that I have to respond to immediately. And that's a quick way of quizzing yourself and learning better, right? So you can quiz yourself and give exams if you're missing that for whatever reason, right? But I can also do this entire 10 different sources that I have on the left can become a 15-minute podcast that I
Today's
can
big
play right now.
essay, Machines of Loving Grace, it's basically his utopian manifesto. Then there's the transcript of his debate with Demis Hassabis from Google DeepMind.
Which was very
Both
revealing.
of
I
these
think they said
voices that
more
you're
than they meant
hearing
to.
are
I think so
AI.
too. And we're grounding all that with two classics. Nick Bostrom's 1997 paper on superintelligence timelines.
Which is disturbingly
So this is scary, right? It's taking 10 different authors, converting them into two voices, and then giving us the summary of it. So the CEO of OpenAI, CEO of Anthropic, CEO of all these companies, they write blogs, they do videos. Just take all of that, dump it into Notebook LM, and start listening to it like a podcast. And you know what is super fascinating? You can actually participate in this podcast like you're a real speaker. That would be insane, right? Let me show you how that works.
accurate, by the way. Okay, so let's start with a
Oh, hey, I think our listeners got something to say.
Hey, so while you're talking about the apocalypse, I do think I stand on the utopian side. Let's see what happened here.
Ah, yeah, uh-huh.
And I think that AI can make a real dent in all the problems that we are facing as humans today. And that's the direction that is going. I don't see all this pessimism and this negativity that comes with, hey, AI is going to take over everything. I think it'll be a great tool like most other technologies.
That is a wonderful, absolutely critical point.
thank you for jumping in with that.
You're touching on why people like Dario Amodei focus on the risks.
Okay, let's unpack this.
He says he focuses on risks because they're the only thing standing in the way.
Standing in the way of what?
A fundamentally positive future.
A future.
Folks, I just want to give you all a moment to realize what just happened. We had 10 different articles, couple of YouTube videos get converted from all that would have taken 20, 30 hours into a 15-minute podcast. Not just that, you could join that podcast and chat with artificial people, right? You're basically making your conversations with artificial intelligence by giving in your words, and it's taking that as input and then responding back to you. How incredible is it that we get to learn in a time like this? So if you're here to learn, let me just tell you, it's one of the most exciting tools out there. It's called Notebook LM. Please go get your hands on that. Awesome. I hope that you enjoyed that demo. Now, let's go ahead and go into some even more serious use cases. And when I say serious, you know what my currency is? My currency is, can I save time? Can I save time by, if it used to take me 1 hour, will it take me 10 minutes? If it used to take me 10 minutes, will it take me 1 minute? Let me show you one of those tasks that used to take me 6 months. But today I'm able to do it in maybe a few minutes. And the tool of choice for me for this is none other than Perplexity. But if you don't have Perplexity, or if you've not tried it yet, remember that this same thing can be achieved with Gemini Deep Research as well as ChatGPT Deep Research. All you need to do is enable that functionality. Like how we enabled video generation and image generation, you are basically trying to enable one more feature called as Deep Research. So let me jump into Perplexity for the next one. All right, I have it right here. Now, in Perplexity, when I'm doing something like this, I will have to choose Deep Research, and I will go ahead and say, hey, I've just been laid off and I'm now ready again to interview. But this time I want to make a switch in my career to work in AI native or AI first companies. So I need you to help me with a research project so that I can understand where to begin this particular journey. I want you to go ahead and cover the companies that are interesting in the space of AI. I want you to then dig into their careers page and find out what are the kind of roles that they're hiring for. I want you to then go ahead and give me a nice curriculum or plan that I can use to learn and prepare for these interviews. I also want you to do a study on the culture that is there at these companies, because culture is very important to me. And I want to ensure I'm joining a interesting space, but I also want to ensure I don't want to be in a toxic space. I'm sure I'm spoken the mind of a lot of people out there when I say this, but I do that into Whisperflow, large prompt. Let me go ahead and hit submit. Now, what's interesting is Perplexity will actually do this by generating real time agents that will search on your behalf. So you can see this. It says, hey, I'm retrieving your previous career preferences and culture priorities to tailor AI's native prep. So past career focus, preferred work culture, target roles, AI companies. Then it comes back and says, hey, I have a few questions for you. which role track are you most interested in AI first companies right now? So I'll say, hey, I think I like the product manager role. So I'm going to choose that. What company stage are you targeting primarily? I'm done with early stage startups, so maybe I'll go with a series A to C. Interesting that it also recommends this, right? It's becoming my strategic hiring advisor. Geography and work setup preferences. I definitely want to be in India, so remote friendly and global roles sounds great. Great if I can get paid in dollars while spending in rupees, right? That's always amazing. How would you like me to deliver this research? A report, slides, app, or a spreadsheet? Now we are just getting pampered for choice. I want to say, just give me a report and then go ahead and do this. So it's going to go ahead and try and dig into top startups, AI native companies, AI product manager roles, searching on your behalf. And it searches really, really, really fast, right? In fact, at the end of the day, it's going to tell you how many sources it has covered, and you will be kind of shocked because how much it is going to get done in a few minutes. Now we're going to move back to the slide deck because by the time it looks like it's already generated the report. I thought we'll give it some time, but looks like it's ready. Let's go ahead and see what it's come up with. So it says, this is your journey to breaking into AI for startups as an AI product manager. The executive summary is, there are some big names out there, and there are some other names that I've also listed down. Core model and AI platform layers, AI native application companies, India and global remote AI startups. So it's taken in all my considerations. It says these are your companies, these are the categories, this is the example roles, and these are your notes for you if you want to just try and understand in one line what they're hiring for. Then it goes into individual companies and tells you what is available in their careers page by digging into that, right? It then jumps into Perplexity, Mistral, Cohere, Writer, lot of those AI tools. And then it tells what is this role exactly about. So if I'm a complete noob, I don't know what AI product managers do compared to product managers, I'm going to read all of this and understand this role better. Then it says culture patterns in AI first companies, mission intensity and safety focus. So Anthropic and Safe Superintelligence are good at that. Autonomy, ownership, and flat structures. So not a lot of corporate, bogus stuff that is there. Intensity, speed, and burnout risk is there because, of course, they are fast-moving startups. Values and interpersonal norms, analytics and experimentation basics. Build and ship a couple of portfolio projects. Practice evaluation and monitoring. Explore developer and platform surfaces. Interview specific prep, product sense and case practice, metrics and analytical questions, technical and research collaboration, and it goes on and on and on. Now it'll get a little overwhelming because of how much detail it's done in a couple of minutes, right? So you can see that anything that needs a deep thought, anything that needs a lot of knowledge, you're able to do that with the help of deep research, right? And like I told you, if you jump to a Gemini, you can press this and you'll find deep research right here. You also find it available in ChatGPT and in other tools that you want to be using in the AI world. So that was us trying to get maybe a few hours of work done in a couple of minutes. And depending on the size of your research product, you will probably do 6 months of work in a week, right? You will do a week's work in a day, a day's work in a few minutes. And that's the world that we are moving to. Now, let's say that this AI PM role that we just prepared for, we do the good yards, we do the reading, we do the hard work. But now it's time for the interview. What if I told you that you can actually use AI to help you prepare for the interview as well? And this time, you're not just talking to AI, AI is actually responding back to you. And this is happening as a voice conversation. That'll be insane, right? So let me go back to Perplexity and I'm going to maybe give it a follow up prompt, right? By saying, okay, I want to prepare for the AI PM role. What do you think I should do to rehearse this particular interview? Give it to me as a prompt that I can read out to a voice based AI. Give it to me in 3 short lines, right? So now we are using it, use its research, and then get deeper into preparing for this. There you go. So it says, act as a senior hiring manager at a top AI startup interviewing me for AI PM role. Focus on LLMs in agents and ask realistic questions. Ask me about understanding metrics and behavioral stories. That's a nice nudge. Maybe I can go to ChatGPT for this. We've not opened the hero until now, so let me open chatgpt.com. And these little buttons on the right get ignored a lot. One of them is dictate, which allows you to do what Whisperflow does. You talk to it and it types the prompt. The other one is actually called as use voice. And not a lot of people end up using this, but it's super powerful. Let me show you how. Hi there. Can you hear me?
Hey, yep, I can hear you loud and clear. What's up?
I'm actually preparing for an AI PM role, and I need you to play the role of a senior hiring manager, and that to one who is, a grilling, serious kind of a person, because I want to prepare and rehearse for my AI interviews.
Absolutely, I can do that. Let's get into it. I'll ask you some tough, in-depth questions about AI product management, your experience, and how you'd handle specific scenarios. Ready to dive in?
Yes, I'm ready to dive in, but I don't want you to give me feedback live on the call. Let's make it sound and feel as real as possible.
Got it. Let's get started. So tell me about a challenging AI project you've led. What was your role, and what were the key obstacles you faced?
So this is for one of the consulting projects that I've taken up. And in this, we wanted to build an AI decision making support system that helps with logistics based decisions. But then we realized that the data lake or the core data that they have was completely broken. So we ended up having to upskill about their schema, their existing setup, and then building the pipelines for the data to flow, and eventually got them to a point where we could build their own small language model for them.
I see. And how did you prioritize what to fix first in the data infrastructure? What factors influenced your decision-making process at that stage?
That's an interesting one because the data got messy because the business got messy. So sometimes you're just adding in new elements just to ensure that the business doesn't drop. So they ended up not following the architecture or the principles of enjoying good data. And that is what ended up making the data a whole spaghetti kind of a structure. So we wanted to understand what are the business processes, what is the architecture that it needs, and then with first principles try and understand what is broken in the data.
Got it. So once you identified those core issues, how did you ensure alignment between the business goals and the technical requirements for the AI system?
So I was working with their developer team. I was also working with their business team. With the business team, the important aspect was communicating and calling out that their data is really messy and they cannot build any good AI system without good data. And on the technical side, we started prepping for other things we can do while this lag was currently in place.
Makes sense. How did you handle resistance or pushback from stakeholders who might not have fully understood the importance of data quality in the early stages?
This was a common challenge because a lot of people wanted to push for immediate results, and we realized that we cannot give them immediate results without a good foundation. So we ended up having to, put our foot down and let them know in as many words that we can only work if the data quality is up to it. We kind of risked losing the project, but at the same time, we realized that it was important to ensure high quality delivery, and we wouldn't do it any other way.
Standing your ground on quality is crucial. Ultimately, how did you measure the success of the
Now,
AI?
I want to interrupt you. I want to know how I've done so far. So go ahead and go through your interview parameters of how you would judge a candidate and give me my report on how I've done so far.
Sure, you've done a solid job so far. Here's some quick feedback. Clarity and structure. You articulated your experiences clearly and provided a structured response to each question. Problem-solving approach. You demonstrated a strong understanding of the importance of data quality and how to
Folks,
align technical and business goals.
this is AI training,
Handling
guys.
challenges. You showed that you're willing to take a stand on critical issues like data integrity, which is a key trait for a PM role. Overall, you're conveying confidence and a clear understanding of the project lifecycle. Keep it up.
Now go ahead and be critical and give me all the negatives that you've noticed from my conversation. That's where the real deal is.
All right, let's dive into the critical side. Depth of detail. While your answers were clear, they could benefit from more specific examples or metrics to quantify success or challenges. This adds credibility and shows a results-oriented mindset. Conflict resolution. You mentioned pushing back on stakeholders, but it would be helpful to hear more about how you managed those conflicts and aligned everyone.
So I'm going to end that at that. Folks, that was us literally using AI. And the beauty is it gives you the entire transcript. So if you're someone who's preparing, wanting to get better, you can go back and see your responses and say, oh, I'm not going to do that. Because the reality is, how much ever you prepare for an interview, there is no substitute to actually being in a situation where you're responding real time. Right. And AI actually does a great job of that. When you're doing it with your friends or with your mentors, it's not this serious. Here you can give it any profile. You can say be serious, be humorous, be cryptic, be confusing, and it's going to do all those roles, and you can prepare in multi-dimensional ways, right? So that was us trying to use ChatGPT to better prepare for this. I hope that all of you get to use voice with ChatGPT, and it's incredibly powerful. All the major AI models again have a voice mode. It's just one of those features that gets ignored a lot. Now, we've prepared well, we've understood what role we want, say we've cracked the interview, right? And a new role will need new skills. But often there is no time and you have to deal with something like this, right? Day one in a new job, they'll throw a dashboard in your face and they're going to tell you, saying, hey, get to know this. This is going to be your Bible. This is going to be the source of truth for everything that you do here, right? I've been in situations like this where I had to upskill really fast and get familiar with a new company's, terrain. But nowadays, that is becoming even more simple. And let me show you how simple it is, right? So I can literally just screen grab this pixelated graph or dashboard that we have. And I'm going to next move on to Claude for our next demo, because we're jumping between multiple tools, and this is me proving to you that which tool does not matter as long as you're able to articulate your requests really well. So I've added this as a screenshot, right? Let's see what it can do for us. Hi Claude, I want to understand this dashboard entirely. This is my first day at work and I feel like I don't understand a lot from this. So get started with the basics. Explain to me like I'm 5 years old first, then explain it to me like I'm, a mid-level management guy. Then explain it to me like I'm in the leadership, right? Quick, lazy prompt like that, and Claude will get started. And soon we will have our response. Give it a couple of more seconds. There you go. Here's a full breakdown like you're 5 years old. The dashboard is a scoreboard for money. It answers, do we have more money coming in than going out? How fast is money moving? Are we winning or losing? The big numbers at the top. So at the top, right here, it says 6.6 million are owed to us. 1.6 million we owe. 70% equity, mostly our money not borrowed. 1.1% debt, very low borrowing. Your days sales outstanding and days sales incoming, 10 days, inventory clears very fast, and customers pay you very slowly. We also delay our payments. So 7 days you're getting in the money, but 28 days you're making your payments, which means a lot of days money is in your bank, right? And beautifully explained, right? Then it goes ahead and does this at a mid-level management. And we've also asked it for like a leadership level, and it's going to do that as well, right? In a very quick screen grab, CEO in 6 hours. I'm in the product and marketing team. Can you give me top 3 talking points that I have to raise with him or discuss with him when I go for this meeting? Can be used for meeting prep as well. And it is going to be very good for starting these thoughts. You don't have to use all of this as is, but you know that, oh, revenue growth is concentrated in H2. So it's calling out things that are not very obvious, that are not direct, that would take you time. Collections are fast, but cash is still tight in the middle of the year. The cost structure is scaling with revenue, right? So all macro level questions that you would talk with the CEO and then with explanations that go beneath, right? So that was us taking a complex dashboard like this, just screen grabbing it, putting it into Claude, asking it the right questions, and then you're able to break it down completely. What I want to call out at this moment is the ability to think and ask questions has become more important than actually knowing the particular skill. If you can ask the right questions to a data analyst, then you don't need to be a data analyst anymore, because AI can really, really help you get through those skills that have repetitive steps, right? Now, while this is scary if you're a data person, you must understand that you're on the top of this curve and you can actually use Claude to make even more complex things than what you were already doing at your work. So use AI as a stepping stone to, go ahead and look beyond rather than being threatened by it, right? The only thing that you can do right now, because this AI wave is coming, whether you like it or not, is to try and get your hands dirty with as many tools as possible. All right. Now let's flip the lens a little bit and let's go ahead and do some creative work. Now, I've spent a lot of time and money in getting product photo shoots done. Now, whether that's for apparel, whether that's for shoes, whether that's any retail product, any food product, you understand the visual impact is very, very important, right? Now, for this, I have a favorite tool of mine called as foot.ai. This is an incredible tool because it actually really helps you with understanding all the ways in which creative teams work. So it's not just one tool. Let me jump real quick into that so that you see what all it can do. So you can see that it has a background remover, it has a replacer, it has an object replacer, it has an object remover, it has a generative fill. The tools list is just unending. So this is one of those tools that can replace like multiple creative tools in your stack. But I'm going to jump into the studio to actually show you how we are going to do this. So you can see that within the studio, you have AI visuals, AI ads, you can do a bunch of things. Today, we are here to focus on the product photo shoot. So let's dive into the product photo shoot. Now, this is going to take a little bit of time, so we'll need a little bit of patience here, but we can choose one of their existing products and try and see if we can play with it and get us to a point where we got the look and feel that we want. So there's a shoe, there's a bottle, there's a bag, there's a few examples that we can actually take from here, right? I like the shoe one because it's giving us nice, strong visuals here, but let's see if we can pick one of the other ones. Let's just give it a moment. Sometimes these tools tend to get buggy when a lot of people are using it. So folks, if you're using it live on the call, please wait until the end of this session so that we don't crash the entire tool. Okay, seems like it's loading. Let's give it 30 more seconds. Now, while it's loading, let me just go back here and show you. So they have image manipulation, they have text to art, they have editing and enhancement, and they have a bunch of AI solutions that do the final product for you as well, right? So a lot of very, very interesting stuff. And if you're planning with AI tools in your creative, you can actually get multiple outputs from one tool that is there, right? So let's wait for the image to load. Say you're planning one photo shoot, it's equal to planning like 4 or 5 photo shoots if you're able to actually utilize all the AI tools that are available around it. There you go. So this is a hemp seed oil. It's removed the background, it's made it ready for us. So let's actually do this. Hi, I want this product to be placed in premium plush 7-star hotel setups. Identify key areas like the washroom, like the dresser, and other places where it could give you the feel of relaxation, and it should feel like being in a spa, right? So now we've generated a prompt for this, and I'm going to go ahead and click on generate. All those people who are working in e-commerce, in B2C, you will notice that, you know, getting the right lighting, getting the right, you know, product look and feel. Say you've changed the design a little bit, you have to redo the shoot entirely. Now all of that is gone. Any place where you have ideas of how to use AI tools, you will either save money or you'll save time. So ensure that you're getting your hands in all of this. Now, while this is loading, why don't we use this time to actually go back and look at other tools and get back here once we think it is ready for us. Now, the next tool that I want to show you is one of that if you were looking for a person to help you with something, right? And this could be multiple ways, right? You can look at, hey, who are all the people hiring right now if you're looking for jobs? You can look at who are all the people investing right now if you're looking to build a business. You can look at who are the people that I want to join in my team if I were to look at talent that is going to come and work for me. So depending on which stage and which goal you have, you can always decide to use this tool differently. And this one's got a lovely name. It's called as happenstance. And happenstance is your friend in terms of finding people from your network. So let me quickly jump to happenstance. Ooh, and in the meanwhile, the tool decided to show up. Imagine having to go to a 7-star and actually getting this shoot done. And it's given us 4 options. Look at all the plush granite it is using here. Here it's decided to take the top off. So there's a hook and there's a one without a hook. And nice little fern, a candle, a spa feel is coming through. And then, oh, it's also put alternate products just to show you which products it goes along with. Amazing, right? So this is an example of how you can do product photo shoots if you have the right vision for where you would like to see your product. And you can just click on generate more and it's going to do 4 more for you, right? That's the part. It never tires like how we tire. Now, this is the next tool that I wanted to show you. It's called as happenstance, and happenstance looks like this. It looks very, very similar to ChatGPT. But what it does is it has this feature called as connectors, which asks you to add all your social presences that are there. So Google, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Outlook. Because I use it for work, I've connected my Google, my LinkedIn, and my Twitter. And together, it says that I have about 4,000 odd connections that I can dig into, right? And it's also giving me a feed from all these places. That ways, it's kind of like us getting the best of the entire network that we've built, right? Now I can say, just got a new client that is looking for data and pipelining work. Looking forward to people that can help me with that. So I can use this as my social media feed, right? So let me just, right? I can post that and immediately it's going to try ahead and try and give me searches with respect to that. Let's see what it comes up with. While it's doing that, I can also do a generic search. So search through my connections or not, right? So I say search through my connections, my friends' connections, and a bot that they have. Hey, I'm looking for interns and junior resources that can help me with a data and pipelining exercise. It would involve the entire extract, transform, and load parts of the process, right? This is a private this thing. I'm just going to click on search and it's going to start looking through all the connections that I have across all these parameters, right? 2,000 people in Twitter, 1,800 people in LinkedIn, 371 contacts, 200 from Gmail, 196 from the calendar, and 3,000 from the friends and other groups. This is amazing, right? And you can see the thinking. So it's saying, hey, I have to look at education experience, someone who is an intern, a junior resource, has experience in these, is a candidate for an intern or a junior role, is open to a new intern or junior opportunity. So it's filtering LinkedIn on our behalf. it says completing an internship, student intern. So it's going to try and find that out. And then it's going to give me a list. So it says Dhruv Kapadia from your network, Sanjana Jagalpudi from your network, Pradham Vashne from your network. All of these people would be interesting sources. And then it's also giving us a match score. So more number of greens, the better your chance of them fitting your purpose. So it's saying, is this person an intern? Yes. Is this person a junior years resource? Yes. Does this person have experience with data pipelining? Sort of. Is this person a candidate for an intern or junior role? Yes. Is this person open to new opportunities? Yes. So I'd feel like going ahead and reaching out to Dhruvi and trying to figure out if she could actually fit my need. So she has a lot of experience around data, and I'm actually starting to see that, right? I'll show you some of my past queries as well. So, for example, I was building a product for AI enthusiasts and generalists like the people we have on this call, and it found a bunch of people for that. It started with me and Vaibhav, which makes sense because we talk a lot about AI, but there's a bunch of other people working in AI in my network as well that I could reach out to. So that was happenstance, and it is a very, very nice way